Hi, good evening, Johanna. So this is my video post to you in regards to your video post for our discussion question about the BSAS and how it connects with our reading from week number two. So one of the things that I like that you stated was about the ability to explore your attitudes. I think a lot of times, unless someone asks us about our attitudes about sexuality, we really don't know what they are. So I really like how you brought about using the attitude scale to kind of help assess what you feel about your attitudes in regards to sexuality. The second piece that I like that you expressed was you talked about how the reading and how the attitude scale helped you to bring about an awareness for you. And I think that's very important to understand because a lot of times we can obtain information, but what do we really do with that information? Do we just let it sit there, or do we really take the steps to be able to gain awareness of what we're actually learning and then even being able to apply it? So I like how you express the awareness of sexuality that you have been experiencing. Another piece that you spoke about was how you felt that the BSAS and the textbook help, in conjunction was basically helping you as far as with communication and self disclosure. And I like how you said that because a lot of times when it comes to self disclosing, we are not always able to self disclose. We have to be in a really trusting space and a trusting place in order to do self disclosure. And when I looked at Carol's book, Sexuality Now Embracing Diversity from 2015, she did say that opening up and talking with your partner and sharing feelings or self disclosure helps deepen intimacy and sexual satisfaction. And a lot of times I don't think we think about that. We don't think about if I tell this person or if I tell my partner what I'm really feeling or what I'm really thinking, I I think we don't understand the concept of doing that actually works to our benefit. Um, I think a lot of times we see self disclosure in some senses in a downside to say like, okay, if I disclose this, then does that give this person ammunition to use it against me, or will they use it in a more positive effect? And so I like how you indicated the self disclosure piece, and I'm finding that when you are able to disclose, it's surrounded by an avenue of trust. And so I think those two are um, completely interlocked with each other. And then you also stated about communication as well. And when I was looking at Carol's book, it reminded me of how when you was talking about communication, it reminded me of when she spoke about the low context culture, and what Carol had stated from her book in 2015 states that low context culture, such as Scandinavians, Germans, Swiss, and North American countries, uses language to express thoughts, feelings, and ideas as directly as possible. And a lot of times when we look at communication, I don't think we understand how effective our communication can be. And so when you spoke about that, it reminded me of that particular concept because that's what really communication is for us, is about expressing our thoughts, our feelings, as directly as we can. And directly doesn't always mean harshly. Directly means using the best method of getting our message across as possible. So when you spoke about that, it made me think about what she wrote about that. And then finally, the last piece that you brought up, excuse me, is was talking about it without fear. And a lot of times, because sexuality is so tabooed, there's so much fear behind it. There's so much fear about talking about it because if we talk about it, are we sending a positive message? Are we sending a negative message? And it just produces anxiety because a lot of people feel like they're not equipped to be able to say anything about it. And with all of that being said, it just causes an uneven space with us sometimes. So I like when you said talking, being able to talk about sexuality without fear. And I think that as this newer generation is becoming more open to information and obtaining more information, we're able to be in that boat where we can talk about it without being fearful of what will happen if we do talk about it. like our parents back in the day. You know, their fear was if we talk about it, then they're going to do it. And we really don't have to walk around with that fear as we become more educated in the area of sexuality and building that awareness that you talked about earlier in your post. So, with that being said, those were the points that really stuck with me. And so, this is my response to your post. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.